Hello, and welcome to Intentional Excellence, the podcast where we explore inspiring stories, uncover life lessons, and dive into the journeys of remarkable individuals. And I'm your host, Candice Ruggiero, keynote speaker, podcaster, aspiring author, educator, previous school owner, entrepreneur, and I'm just so glad you are here with us today. But before we begin, I'd love for you to visit my website, www.candiceruggiero.com, and my linktree slash Candice Ruggiero, and stay connected with me. You'll find me on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. And be sure to follow and join the conversations there. Now, on to today's episode. Today, we're joined by an incredibly talented guest, Alison Wojciechowski. Did I say that, Alison? Correct.
Wojciechowski.
Okay, please feel free to correct me. All right. And Alison is the owner and principal designer of Alison Interior Designs LLC. Alison's journey is one of creativity, resilience, and courage. Let me tell you a little bit about Alison. She has faced significant challenges due to a lifelong disability, but has never let those challenges hold her back. Allison discovered her passion for interior design back in high school, where she learned technical skills in auto CAD classes. Is that how you say it, Allison?
AutoCAD.
AutoCAD classes. Thank you for the correction. Then she later earned her Bachelor of Fine Arts in Interior Design from Keene University. And from then on, she built her career step by step. And after gaining valuable experience at design firms, Allison decided to take a bold leap in 2023 by starting her own business, Allison Interior Designs. Her journey has not been without challenges, but her determination and passion for interior design continue to guide her toward her success. I am so proud and humbled to have Allison join us in today's podcast. Hi, Allison.
Hi. It's great to be here.
Yes. How are you feeling?
Good.
Is there anything that you would like to add to what I've already shared about you? Did I miss anything? You want to like share anything more about you?
No, I don't think so. I think that sums it up pretty well.
Yes. All right. So I'm so excited to start our conversation. Are you good?
Yep.
All right. Let's begin. So, Allison, creativity is a big skill, especially with the type of career that you have. For me, it's the core of everything that we do. Like in my own career as a teacher, I've always looked for creative ways to engage my students. I am the type of teacher who I would teach them a skill, but I would find multiple ways of teaching it. Like I would use games, I would use role play, I would use songs, we would dance, and even include interactive activities to bring the lesson to life. I was never one of those boring teachers. Like my class would always be the happy class, the loud class. And I feel that these methods not only make learning fun, but also enhance student achievement. They learn quicker and they learn faster. And one of the things that I am so proud of is there was one time I was teaching a class of first graders, and I actually got them to debate with one another, talking about the pros and cons of a topic. And it was just so nice because at such a young age, Allison, I was able to teach these skills: collaboration, speaking skills, critical thinking skills, and it's just something that I'm proud of with my teaching abilities. Just ability to turn a skill and use it in different ways to encourage the skills of my students. Now, Allison, what about you? I know creativity is just as essential in interior design. Like, what inspires your creativity, and how do you bring fresh ideas to life while meeting client expectations?
So ever since a young age, I have always been inspired by art, different spaces, like drawing floor plans, doing all of that. And obviously, as you said, my journey started in when I was in high school. So my creativity comes from being able to have a vision for a space that the client doesn't have that vision for, and then executing that vision and turning it into reality for my clients. And design is all about making a space unique for each individual. Each design is created, is tailored to that specific person, that specific family. And also, but also creativity comes with also having you want a space to be function. So functionality is very important in
Wow.
a space.
I'm loving what you're doing because I feel like you it's not stagnant. You have to keep evolving with your creative ideas, right? And I'm sure you find ways to like adjust and modify. And I like what you just said, that you're basing it on the individual's preference or individual need, because that's really important.
Yes, and each project is different. Each project is not the same. Like you're not gonna have the same
Yes.
result, the same design style. Each project is different to that specific client, that specific family, that specific space.
Now, do you do just how do you do home in designing, office, school? Like, just curious. Like, are you for everything?
Mainly I focus on residential
Okay.
interior design.
Have you tried like out of state, or you concentrate more in Florida? Just curious,
Um
because you
I
might get
would
after this, you might get an invite from out of state people.
Yeah, no, I would work with anyone anywhere like throughout the US. So in state, out of state, would be perfectly okay with me.
That's great. I'm excited. Oh, all right. And maybe when I have my own home, I'm probably going to like, hey, now I know you. Now I know you, because like sometimes it's different. My ideas are not like like I want. I like my idea is I like modern homes for some reason. So I'm just like my liking is that simplicity, less is more. And I don't know if that's the in thing right now, but that's just me, and I'm just excited. Like I always look at magazines and look at interior designs. It always like I find it amazing, just looking at different designs and just dreaming to myself, oh, I want this one day for like for my own home. And I
Yeah, and a
can't
lot
believe
of
it, especially like
people don't realize what is involved in interior design and what goes into it. And a lot of people don't like when they come to me like they say they know what they want, but they don't really know what they want.
me too. Like I want a modern house, but I still don't know what I want. Like I don't have good spatial awareness of where to put things. So I really personally would need help when it comes to my home. If I, you know what I mean? So I'm so glad that I finally met someone who I can go to, you know, if that time comes. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so let's talk about the bulk of what my podcast is all about. It's intentionality. So intentionality, Allison, has been a guiding principle for me. Big, huge, especially when managing my social media platforms. Like I shared in the beginning, I currently post on 5 different platforms daily, and Instagram has 2, Facebook has 3. And I feel that it's important to tailor each post to the audience. Like LinkedIn has a different set of client or audience. It's more like professional, and like Instagram is more of like social. That's how I think of it. TikTok, again, it's more like everyday things that go, that happens in our everyday life. And Facebook is again different set of clients. So I make sure that when I post, it could be one post that is when I post, I make sure that it's all going to be tailored to the different social media platform. And I want to make sure I'm intentional. I would showcase my uniqueness. If I am posting just a quote that I got from, let's say, internet or Canva, I still put my own branding to it, which is Candice Ruggiero Speaks. Just shows my individuality. I use videos, I use quotes, which I say I try to make it my own, or even ask questions to the people. And even when I schedule my posts, I still become intentional. Like I make it fit my schedule because it can be, you have a business as well. I'm sure you're posting, right? It could be stressful because it's just every day that I have to do it. So I have to be intentional, manage it well so that it doesn't eat up all my time. I want to make sure that every content resonates with people. Allison, how about you? How do you incorporate intentionality into your decisions and in managing Allison interior design as a business?
So obviously, I do not post 5 times a day, on 5 different platforms every day. I know that's your business, but that's crazy. I wouldn't know how to find the time to do all that work. I try and post like at least like a few times a week, but I'm not as consistent as you are. But intentionality is all about like what you're intended to do with your business and in your life. And I try to plan like as much as possible with my clients and with my business. However, obviously it doesn't always follow through or make it through. So I just make sure I'm honest with myself, honest with my clients. And as far as social media, that is something I am working on and want to work on more next year.
Okay.
I am planning on starting my own YouTube channel.
That is so cool. That's cool. So, like, are you going to feature your designs or something like that, or just maybe teach families how to like do it your own? That would be cool. That would be
So
cool.
I think it's just it's not fully I'm gonna launch it in January. It's not fully developed yet. I'm taking some time at the end of this month to kind of develop it, get some ideas and all of that. But I'm gonna do like short 5 to 10 minute
Videos.
videos on like all different types of things, like my work, my process, like all different things, not just one specific thing. And
I
I'm
would,
gonna
yeah.
try and post that, start posting that at least every other week, and then hopefully eventually go to every week.
That's amazing. I can't wait. Make sure you send us the link, okay? Because I would love to see you out there more on social media. And look, I know it's crazy. I have to post on 5 social media. It's also because of my career. Like I'm a keynote speaker, I'm a motivational speaking. And when you apply for conference engagement, the first thing that they do also is look at your social media presence. And not only that, it's not just a matter of for me to be accepted in any engagement. I love spreading positivity and motivation to others. If one person can resonate with my posts, I feel like I've accomplished my goal as a motivational speaker. So partly it's because of work, and secondly, more of it is because of my personal motivation for others. That's why I do it. And I know it's crazy, but I just can't stop. It's just something that's already part of my life.
Yeah,
And
no, and that's great. Yeah, that's a part of your business, part of your life.
oh, but you're right. It can get crazy. It can get crazy, especially if I have something that I did today that I'm like, I need to post this. I need to post this. It's like it becomes like this is what I'm gonna do now. Like I'm just so excited to share myself with others because I feel like sometimes you never know who's gonna watch you in that very moment. Like maybe a person in that very moment needs to see you, needs to hear good things from you. Like you never know how you're going to like will make an impact on people. That's why I post not just yes, I schedule some, but most of the time when I feel like talking, I could be driving, Allison. I could be driving and a thought comes in my head. I would park. Um, and then I always have my camera with me and my mic, and I just film myself and then I share. It's just like there's this aching in my heart that maybe I feel like, hey, I think somebody wants to hear this, and then that's how I do it. That's how I do it.
Yeah, and that's great. Yeah, that's great.
All right, so let's talk about resilience, um, I believe that building resilience in a very challenging industry, all right, like yours, is something that will be developed or needs to be developed over time, especially during this difficult time. There's just so many challenges and trials that people go through every day. Like, I don't know if there's anyone who is excused from having challenges or trials in their life. I salute you if you don't. But honestly, it's part of life. And Allison, one of the hardest moments for my family was actually during COVID. So COVID happens. Before COVID happens, my mother-in-law, um, she was in a rehabilitation center where she stays in an assisted living, but then a month before the shutdown happens, she had like an injury, so they placed her in a rehab center, and unfortunately she had a virus, and um, we could only see her through FaceTime, and it was just so hard because she's like, she was intubated, like she was fragile, she was so weak, and we couldn't be there because that time, Allison, there was a shutdown. We were an hour away from her, and nobody was allowed to get in the hospital. And she was literally screaming and crying, like, "Just let me go!" Like she was crying, "Let me go, just let me go." And the last few hours, I think that last few hours, we were told that she wasn't gonna make it. They did send us the invite that one family member can go because it to say goodbye. But the saddest part, Allison, was that my husband couldn't say goodbye to his own mom because he is high risk. Like, my husband has like very bad heart illness, and I think that's worse, that you can't even say goodbye to your mom. So I'm just saying that. So we all had to say goodbye to her on FaceTime, and I felt so bad for my husband because, like, that guilt in him that he couldn't even be there and hold his mom's hand. Um, that was tough. That was really, really tough. Um, and I'm, resilience had to was there for all of us. It took a while, but I feel that those are the challenges that you encounter every day that just builds you and makes you stronger. We just had to deal with it, head on, and move on from that sad experience. Um, Allison, I know resilience is essential in your journey as well. I mean, I talked about personal, but I know professionally, you encounter challenges, and resilience is essential. What challenges have you faced, Allison, and how have you developed resilience to overcome them?
Yeah, so I'm sorry to hear about your whole situation. I know COVID was really bad with everybody. And a lot of people, different people were going through a lot of sad,
Emotions,
sad
yes.
things. I'm glad that we're finally through that whole time in our lives and we've moved past that
Yes, and I
now.
think each one of us have been touched at some point, like have been moved. You know what I mean? Like, I think every that COVID thing changed everybody in in their own simple way. You know what I mean? Like, I'm more patient, I'm more understanding, I'm more like, it's okay, it's okay. You know what I mean? Things are gonna get better for the world, for our family, for everyone. Just being patient. That's how it changed me. Yes,
Yeah,
I
it's
agree.
definitely changed a lot of our lives, and obviously we're past that now, which is great because we're back into kind of somewhat normalcy now.
Mhm.
What is the new normal in our world? But anyway, yeah, I've faced many challenges, obviously throughout my entire career in my life, from having a disability to having people believe in me, like having friends, getting through all of that. Obviously, I started my interior design career in high school. While I had the opportunity to take AutoCAD classes, and then after that, I attended Kane University and got a bachelor's of fine art in interior design. During that time, I had to adjust to living away from home and adjust
Mhm.
to the college lifestyle, attending college classes, all of that. After that, and while I was in college, I had a few different internships where I had to prove myself
Mm-hmm.
as an interior designer and as a person. And then I've had, and then after school, after I graduated, I had a few different design jobs and all that. It was hard to get my I am originally from New Jersey, so I moved to Florida in 2019, right before the pandemic hit in 2020. So it took me a while to get a
Yeah.
job in the
Interior
interior
design.
design field down here,
Oh,
and then
because of the limitations, that this social distancing, it probably affected you, right?
there were people working in design firms at that time. A lot of people
Okay.
moved from working in the office to working like remotely from home, all that. So the industry was still going during COVID.
Okay.
Actually,
Oh.
COVID kind of surged the interior design industry because a lot of people were like sitting at home and like just thinking about their spaces. So a lot of interior designers were actually really busy during the COVID era because of
Oh. That's amazing to know. I didn't know that. I thought like even because even the real estate agents, like everything became like
yeah,
no
I mean, I think
contact.
it took a few months, but I think once
Yeah.
people, I mean, I think it probably took like 6 to 12 months for people
Mhm.
to start getting busy during that time. But during that time, everybody was sitting in their homes, just looking around and kind of living in their homes like day in, day out. So there were a lot of people that after say 6 months to a year, they were like, oh, I want to change this, I want to change that because they were stuck there.
Oh, okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Thank you. I didn't know that.
Because they were stuck in their homes, so they kind of were picking out things that they didn't like, kind of wanting to change things.
Oh,
And obviously, like, we didn't know how long it was going to be for,
like the
like,
shipment. Maybe the shipment took forever if you were ordering like furnitures or something like that.
yeah, the
Were they
shipments and
affected?
everything that got delayed, obviously, but I think, like, towards, like, maybe, like, in 20, whatever, 2021, 2022, a lot of people have been stuck in their homes for 6 to 8 months and they wanted everything changed because they didn't like, once they were actually like, a lot of people, like, obviously they get up in the morning, they go to work, they come home, they make dinner, and they go to sleep. But when COVID happened, everybody was in their homes basically 24/7.
Yes. Oh, that's why. Yeah, makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. I didn't even it's good to know what actually happened when it comes to your field because I totally like each state is different. We know that Florida is more open and you and I both come from the East Coast. Like I'm also from New York when that happened. Like I live in New York, which is just right next to New Jersey, and like each state had way different way to welcome or like adjust with COVID. So totally different adjustment, right?
Yeah,
So
I moved down here
I moved
prior.
like maybe a couple of years after you. No, it was like right after COVID when Florida really opened. Like it was still close. Everything was still close in where I was in the East Coast, and then in Florida it was like no more masks. Nobody was wearing masks. Everything was like wide open. There were Disney was open. So yeah, that was the time when I came here, which was 3 years, less than 3 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we opened like very quickly after COVID. Like
Yeah.
Florida opened like
I
within like a
know.
few months after COVID hit. Now,
No
I don't know
way.
if it,
I didn't even know the details. Months after, wow. Took a long time back where I was. Years to.
yeah, I think like different states, obviously, but like they started opening things like down here, I think like 2 or 3 months after like June time frame, and I know it hit in like end of March.
Yes, end of March. So like you guys were open already June. Wow, that's amazing. Wow.
Like they started, like they did it. Obviously, I'm sure like where you were, they did it in like different. I don't remember the
That's
exact time frame,
different, like I think what do you
but
call
they
that?
did it in a few different. Like they opened a few things and then opened
Yes,
more. Like they did it in a few different
gradual, like gradual opening. Yeah, I think I heard that.
gradual opening. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm
um,
glad that at least that your career wasn't deeply affected because you were here. But if you were back in New Jersey, East Coast, that would have been really hard.
but I didn't have an interior design job down here until the end of 2020.
Oh, okay, okay,
20. So it
okay.
took me almost a year to get an interior design job
Yeah,
down here, and then I had to bounce around between a few different
yeah,
um companies.
right.
But
Well,
obviously, starting my interior design business, like I'm here to help people create like their dream spaces. I worked for a few different design firms, but I was always doing back end AutoCAD and SketchUp work. But I wanted to do more of that client facing work, so that's why I went out and took the leap and started my own business. Obviously, last year and a half has been very challenging for me with trying to get clients and figure out things. I recently had like had some major setbacks, but lately I have kind of things have kind of turned around
yes,
for
yes.
me finally in the last few weeks. So um I just continue to push myself and um obviously, and resilience is all about like not giving up. It's about
Yeah.
continuing to serve clients, myself, and others. I continue to push myself every day to keep on going because I know that even if I'm having a really hard time, something will change eventually.
And I hope that this podcast, prospective clients will know who you are, not just as a professional, but as a, personally, because sometimes you are now part of their lives. You're designing their homes, so it's good to know you on a deeper level, so that there's this trust and rapport, and it's important for others to also learn to trust you, because like I said, you play a major role in the decision making. That's most of probably your clients are first time buyers or first homeowners, and that's big for me to entrust my home to you, where in that home is going to be my forever or not. I mean, that's big. So I hope this
Yeah,
podcast will
actually,
help.
most of my clients are kind of older, getting ready to retire. I deal with like a lot of the older people. Maybe they have a second home here. Maybe it's
Yes.
a vacation home. So most of my clients are not first time home buyers. Most of them
Okay.
are um like moving down here. It's a
Oh,
vacation
investment
home,
all the
or
time.
they're snowbirds. Like most of them have like multiple houses.
Well, now hopefully this podcast will encourage more owners, first time or second, third owners, just allow you to have it, multiple possibilities for your business.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Yes. All right. So let's move on to now balancing your creativity. So I believe creativity and practicality can coexist beautifully, especially with your job. Like you want to be creative with your design, but at the same time be practical, right? Especially nowadays, things are so expensive. So you need that balance. So this week, I actually achieved something that I'm especially proud of. I have my personalized backdrop for my home studio. So you don't know how excited I am. So I have two of this one because I feel that having it's a big wall. It's actually like a big wall. And having it having my face or my branding on the wall, and every time I turn on the camera and people will see me with my own branding, gives me that feeling of just satisfaction, and that this means I'm putting myself out there. This is me. This is what I do. And now people have a face with my podcast, and it's just every time I see it, because now I have my like studio in my home. It's that sense of pride. It's not only creative, it's practical, because I feel that I have before this I had about five wall drops, okay? Because I keep trying to change it because I
Mm-hmm.
wanted like a different scene scenario all the time. But no more. I'm not changing it anymore. This is when I podcast, and whenever I do live show, I have another one. It's that um mixing or combining creativity, because I designed it, and practicality at the same time. At the same time, bringing my uniqueness and my branding out there in the social community. And yeah, I'm just like, I got it yesterday, and I had a back to back podcast. I had one last night, and my second time is with you. So I'm just really like excited to like sit in front of my backdrop. All right, what about
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
you? Allison, how do you balance creativity and practicality and client preferences in your design projects?
So as an interior designer, I have like a detailed process and questions that I ask my clients starting prior to starting their project. What helps me make sure that I create the best possible space for them. I also create like 3D renderings, floor plans, mood boards, etc. to show them what their vision can look like and what their space can look like. Um, because and to make sure that my clients know what they're purchasing and know how it's going to fit in their space functionally and obviously aesthetically. Um, and at the end of the day, there's a lot involved with designing a space that it can be misleading in this world with like HGTV and all these different TV shows that they design the house in a half hour and that's it. Obviously,
Wow.
these like half-hour TV shows where like a space, um, they don't actually design it in a half hour, but that's how it's perceived.
Because the
Like
show
they,
is half an hour. The show is half an hour.
because like the show is a half an hour or an hour, whatever. And obviously, as an interior designer, I have to teach my clients sometimes about why it takes so long to do certain things in the process, but also why it's important to hire a professional to design a space.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch like what you said, those 30-minute design your own home, they're only looking out like how it looks. But what about like you said, the practicality, like is it convenient? Is it safe? Are all the wires working? Like is it matching with this one? You know, I mean, there's so many like what you said, there's so many things involved when designing a house. Personally, I wouldn't trust a 30-minute, trust my home by just simply watching a 30-minute show. Yes, it looks fast, like it's like a quick fix, but at the same time, there's like what you said, there's so many things involved, so many details involved in designing a house. You're not just designing a house, you're making the house safe, you're making it comfortable, you're making it practical for the family who's going to live in it. So I do agree with you that you need a professional. If you're gonna go all out anyway, might as well get a good one, and have a professional, design your home. I think that's the best way to do it. I agree with you.
Yeah, and people also need to realize that interior design is a luxury service and that it's not a cheap, like quick service that a lot of people with social media and everything these days and people like just DIYing everything. Like they're spending so much time on it. Yeah, they could have had it done in less time and probably saved some money.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm sure you have contacts with furniture stores or like manufacturers that, if you have a design in mind, you know exactly where to get it, how to get it, and I'm sure that's one of the perks of being an interior designer, that you can get better quality, maybe inexpensive or not, fashionable and stuff like that. I'm sure that you have your connections.
Yeah, definitely. Yes,
You know.
definitely.
So a professional design is definitely a good thing for anyone who really wants to go all out, because like you said, it's not really cheap, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It's You don't have to think about it. It's less stress on your part, and you know very well that your home is going to be like one that looks like it came out of like the magazine, like a interior design magazine, right?
Yeah, and renovations, like if you're doing a kitchen renovation or a bathroom renovation, like on your own, and you're selecting every single product and every single thing on your own, that can be very stressful.
Right, right. And even like returning furnitures that may be like a little broken, at least, you can help them, you know, with everything. So at least lesser stress for the homeowners, right?
Yes,
Well, I don't know if you
definitely.
do that exactly, but I'm thinking if, let's say,
Yeah,
you order this and there's a problem with it, so at least you can help with the
yeah, we would
negotiation.
handle the entire
Right.
return process and replacement process.
Yeah. All right. So staying innovative in a competitive industry. We'll talk about that. So, I've always considered myself, Allison, as a 21st century teacher. All right. I've always embraced technology to make learning more engaging. I've As a teacher, you'll be impressed because like I used to have young students. I was able to take my students to a virtual field trip. If let's say we're talking about the community or space, I actually took them to a virtual field trip in NASA, like the that space center. There was like a
Hmm.
virtual field trip. I was able to take them to a virtual field trip to a firehouse. Some were live, some were pre-recorded. And if let's say I'm talking about positions or preposition or places, geography, I would even use Google Earth. Because like when you're a teacher, we have this big, I don't know, like the big smart board. So,
Yeah.
and I love technology. I really love like working to around technology. So I would, if I want to teach about geography or you showing the words under, in, out, preposition, I would use Google Earth and really engage my students and even show them where I live. And they were like, "Oh my goodness, that's where Mrs. Ruggiero lives." I even like on a virtual field trip, I would even like bring popcorn and make it feel like it's a real field trip, that they were actually sitting on like a school bus, and even ask like a consent form, like a cute consent form, and send it home that we're going on a virtual field trip. Please, that they would check off their name, right? The parents, just to make it really, really fun. Or they can have a ticket, like an actual ticket when they go to a virtual field trip zoo. And this is one of the coolest thing I've done. Right now, I'm not teaching anymore. I I was trying to teach them culture and accepting people differences, and I actually was able to, I don't remember if I did Zoom at that time or another platform. I was able to connect to a third world, to a classroom in a third world nation, country, and actually zoomed with the students in their classroom. And it was just amazing how they were holding their iPad and they were going around in the classroom showing us their desk, the like there's things inside the classroom and how they were learning, and they were actually, good thing they were speaking, some of them were speaking in English, so it was, they were able to communicate. And same thing with my students, they were showing them like our classroom, our smartboard. And it's just that idea that, hey, we can have different classrooms, we can have different schools, we can look different, but we all have the same purpose, we're all the same in a lot of ways. And that was one thing that I was really proud of myself, that in order to teach diversity and cultural awareness, that I really went out of my way to just show my students actual real students from all over the world. I did that. And that's where an innovation comes. So I feel that no matter what your job is, if you are open to being innovative, you can do anything. You can do anything to make life interesting and fun. And that's what I did for my students. Now,
Yeah,
what
that's so cool.
I
Yeah.
know. Oh my goodness. I was one of like the coolest teacher. My students were always, and I'm proud of that. I am proud of like the way I taught because I just love teaching. Teaching is just part and natural for me. Um, and I left the teaching profession after 30 years and I really still miss it. I'm going to be honest. I miss teaching. I miss my students. But that's why I'm moving it, the innovation now into what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to be innovative in my own special way. Now, Allison, staying innovative is key in your industry. Now, what strategies do you use to stay ahead and ensure you're continuously growing as a designer and a business owner?
So obviously, to stay innovative, in my industry, I make sure that I attend different industry events throughout the year. I make sure that I obviously keep up to date with technology and how technology is moving in the different programs that are going on. And twice a year, there's a big furniture market in North Carolina called High Point Market. So I make sure that I attend that event once a year, and there are like thousands and thousands of other interior designers, like
Wow.
furniture manufacturers, and all that attend that event. It's twice a year. I try to go at least once a year, um, because it is a big trip. And then also try to attend any events in the area related to my industry, and also
I like
attend
that.
like any like virtual events as well. And then obviously with AI and everything that has started coming about,
Is it
like
affecting you? Yeah, is AI affecting your work is on a more positive or more like negative way? Just curious. Like, sorry if I interrupted. I'm just
no, you're
curious.
fine. No, I think it's still developing and figuring out, because there's a lot of and I mean people can't design based on that. There's a lot of different design programs that can, like, AI generated images that like you can type in, but it's not to the point where like you can select furniture or you can do anything like that. But I try and use it like um use it to help my social media and use it to get like keywords and all that. So I try and incorporate it into my back end process
Okay.
and my social media. And then obviously, as far as going as a business owner, I try and set goals for myself of things that I want to accomplish now and in the future. And I like to take some time at the end of the year to do some business planning and reflection and some goals for 2025, because there are some new things coming in my business for 2025.
Wow. I hope you can share that with us. I don't know if it's a secret yet, but that would be cool to find out where you're up to. If you're able to share it, maybe at the end, that would be nice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I'm just curious. Um, smart home. Define smart home for me. I have some things here that are smart home, but how deep do you go when it comes to like making a home smart home? Like, can you like explain? I'm excited with like how the smart home
Yeah,
functional.
so smart home is like more we don't really go too in depth with that. That's more like technology based and
Okay.
kind of separate and
Also,
kind
you
of
you
like
don't you don't you don't encourage. I mean, you don't. That's not part of you.
it's kind of separate, because the clients kind of decide, like, if you're buying a new house, like they will decide if they want like smart home features or like lights, and like if they want like the different smart home features. But
Okay.
it's not really specific to interior design. I mean, they want to put that, they can put it, but it's not. We
Okay.
don't go very in depth with that.
Okay. That's good to know because I always I was thinking that it might be connected, but it's good to know that it's a separate thing, and which makes sense. It does make sense that it has nothing to do because it's like the light. It's you're talking about like just like
Yeah, I mean, if there's a
everything.
client that
Or
wants information on features and all that, like we can discuss that, like the lighting part of it. But it's not like every client does not do smart technology.
all right, that's good to know. Thank you. Now, um, before we close, I've always loved for any of my guests to leave the audience with one powerful thought or piece of advice or a quote that they can take away from this conversation. So, Allison, if what would you like to share? Like if there's one thing that you would want to leave the audience with, what would that be?
So it would be to one piece of advice would be to never give up, like never give up and push through what you're currently going through, even if if you have the passion and drive to do something in the world, but you don't see the results immediately, like don't stop doing that and just keep trying to achieve your goals and dreams because things can change like very quickly.
Allison, I love that. That is one powerful thing that just simply not giving up. And sometimes people like think that things are gonna happen overnight. It's not. It takes a while. It takes a while for change to happen. And it is gonna happen. Just have patience or just keep pushing through and nothing is impossible if you just put your heart and mind into it. And I agree with you. Never give up. Never give up. I love that. Thank you. Now, before we leave, invite our viewers to anything. How can they find you? Is there anything that you want to promote? Maybe a website, anything that you would like to share to others?
So our viewers can call us or text us at 973-722-9562. Our website is
Okay.
www.alisoninteriordesigns.com, and they can follow us on Instagram at FL Interior Escapes, and they can also email us at alison at alisoninteriordesigns.com.
I mean, if you don't mind, I want all those links, and now I'm gonna include it on my message when I share the podcast. If you want that, okay?
Yes,
Like
I will
all the
send you
links.
all those links
Yeah,
and all
I love
that
that. All right.
information
So
as well.
I would love that, and I'm sure if they can easily find you through those links. I love that. Thank you, Allison. So your story, Allison, is a testament to creativity, resilience, and determination. And I know our viewers or audience has gained so much from your insights. Any parting words?
No, we're currently taking on clients for 2025. So if you're looking to start a project in 2025, get on the schedule now so we can get your project moving in January.
And watch out for Allison YouTube. All right, she's going out on YouTube, getting herself out there in social media. I heard 2025. All right, and
Yep,
I wish
YouTube will get launched January of 2025.
and I wish you all the luck and success in what you're doing. Love it, love it. All right, so to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Intentional Excellence, and don't forget to visit my website and Linktree, and follow along for more inspiring conversations and updates. And until the next time, don't forget, stay intentional, stay creative, and always strive for excellence in everything that you do. Have a good afternoon, everyone. Bye.